So just before going into the set operations, let us first see what actually set is and how can we create a set. Now set in Python is an unordered collection of unique elements which are mutable. So there is no order being followed while set is being created, and there is no duplicate elements allowed, and is mutable. I mean, after creation you can modify the elements as per your requirement. Now there are various ways of creating a set, and set is usually identified by a set of curly braces. So while I create a set, so I can take the help of a set of pair of curly braces here, and here you can see we have taken 4 elements within curly braces. So this is how this set is created. And most importantly, because this is unordered, so when you try to print the elements of a particular set after creation, you may not be getting the same sequence what has been maintained while it is being created. Now coming to the second format, where we can take the help of a set function. Now set function can take up maybe a list, maybe a range function, and whatever elements are present in those iterables, with using that it can create a set. For example, here we have taken some set here holding lot of elements, and you can see there are some repetitions also available, right? But the moment I apply set function on this list, so all the duplicate elements will be eliminated and only one copy of them are maintained. So as a result, this S, which is nothing but I'm trying to create a set from this list, is going to carry only these 4 items, because you can see 10 is appearing 3 times and 20 is appearing 2 times. So they will be appearing only once because it is a set, and set do not allow duplicate elements because it only looks after unique elements. Now the other way where the set function again we have used earlier list here. Now this time we are taking the help of a range function. Now when I say range of 5, so we know these are the values that are being created 0 to 4. So my set is created with the set of values like 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now while creating an empty set, we cannot simply keep on writing opening and closing curly braces, because that is how we identify a set. Rather, you have to take the help of a set function. Now let us see what exactly happens if I'm going to take the help of an empty curly braces to create a set. Let's say we have written like S equal to this open and close curly braces without having anything here. So we will assume as if this is an empty set, but if you check the type of this S, what type of object this S is, you're going to see this is going to be a dictionary. So every time you are trying to create an empty set, you must use the set function for that. Like here you can see we have taken S equal to, we are calling the set function. Now because inside this function there are no elements, it is going to create an empty set. Now when I'm printing S, I'll be getting the same curly braces that I was getting earlier, but you can check the type now. Type of this S is class followed by set, whereas earlier the same S, when I have checked the type, it was giving a dictionary object. So the only option that you have to use is set function whenever you are going to create an empty set. Let's deep dive into the various operations that can be performed on a set. So these are the most of the operations that we normally apply on a set, like add, update, copy, pop, remove, discard, and most specifically these are the functions which are pretty much useful or can be applied only on set operation. Maybe there are some which are already usable on different data structures, but there are very few which are very particularly applicable only on set. Now the first function is your add function. So the add function is used to add an element to a set. So it can add only a single element at a time. So I can take the help of a set variable and I can write add, and here I can specify one element that will be added. So assuming I have a set created here with 3 elements already. Now I am going to call add and passing a single element here, let's say some 4. Now after this add method has been applied, now when I check this my underscore set, I can see 4 elements are available. Apart from these 3, new element is added. So add function always going to add a single element. We cannot add multiple elements by using add. And one more thing, because set do not allow duplicates, if you are trying to add the existing element into the set, it will not be added. It will not show any error. Let's say here add of 3 we have written. So because 3 is already available here, hence 3 is not going to be added again, but there will be no error as well. So it is going to still keep the same set of elements which are available initially. Now add method usually returns none. Now the next method is your update. Okay. Now update method is basically used when you want to add multiple items into a set. So with add we could add only one element at a time, whereas by using update we are allowed to supply multiple elements to a set. And the argument that I'm going to supply for update is normally an iterable, which means it can be a list, can be a range, can be a set. Okay. So what we have done in this example is, let's say we have taken or created one set holding 3 elements. This is a list. So here when I'm calling this update, I can specify a not only a single iterable, I can make a list of iterable here by separating with the help of a comma. So here when I'm calling this update method, you can see the first argument is L, which is indicating the list where I have these 4 elements. Now after this comma, I could write a range function, and we know this range function is going to produce 0 to 4. Now to the existing elements of this set, that is 10, 20, 30. Now we are trying to add all the elements of L. But you can see here all the elements of L with this 10 is something which is already available. So this 10 is not going to be added here because it is already present. But whereas 40, 50, 60 will be added to it. So 10, 20, 30 followed by 40, 50, 60. So these are the items which are added because of this L. Now the second function, that is your range, which is another iterable, it is producing a set of values. What are those? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are not available in the existing set, hence they will be added to the set. So now by the end of this update, I could get the original elements which are available as well as the elements of the list that we have, that is 40, 50 and 60, because 10 is not added once again because it is already available, whereas range of 5 has produced 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that are not available in the set earlier, so that will also be added here. So as a result, this is the complete final set that we have could update. Now next function is your copy function. So copy function is basically used to create a shallow copy. So what is the meaning of shallow copy is, once you have copied the elements into another set, now whatever changes you make to the new one, that will have no impact on the original one. So let us see how do we make use of this copy. So I'll be taking a set dot copy function. So assume we have taken a set S holding 3 elements. Now here I am calling S dot copy. So all the elements of this S are being copied and they are going to be stored into another set, that is called your my set copy here. Now when I'm going to print this my set copy, so I'll be getting the same set of elements what are already available in S. Now let's say later I am trying to modify this newly created set. I am trying to add what? 5. So when I print this updated one, so I'll be getting 1, 2, 3, 5. But if I check the original set that I have created initially, that is S, which is holding what? 1, 2, 3. So it is not updated. So any changes that is made to the copied set will have no impact on the original set. So here this 5 is only added to the new set, that is your my set copy, but the original one S is still maintaining the same set of elements which are earlier available with it. That's what is nothing but your shallow copy.